Hello, everyone. This is Charles Folkart. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's just jump right to this, shall we? The Montana Supreme Court Access to Justice Commission is hosting throughout the state of Montana a series of what they call Access to Justice forums. The commission describes the forums as, quote, a series of regional public discussions about securing equal access to the civil legal system for all Montanans. The commission was set up by the Montana Supreme Court and is headed by Chief Justice Mike McGrath. On the front cover of the flyer handed out at the Access to Justice Forum held at the Alexander Blewett School of Law on the campus of the University of Missoula on April 20, we read this, April 20, 2016. The first duty of society is justice. Quote by Alexander Hamilton. So, from my personal experience gained in the Montana, quote, justice system for over a more than 3-year period, I can say that if my experience is any indication, the Montana Supreme Court has failed in their duty to provide society justice. Anyone who peruses the pleadings filed in my case, number DC 12-302, filed against me in Butte, Silver Bow County, September 2012, and my second appeal before the Montana Supreme Court, case number 15-0345, and this case can be found online. You go to the Montana Supreme Court home site and you do a docket search, or you do a search, an advanced search, and you put in this number and perhaps my name, FOCKAERT, and the entire file will come up except the petition for rehearing, and we'll go into that in a future presentation. Anyway, if you peruse this court case, you will see the district court judges and the Montana Supreme Court made a mockery of the concept of justice they so much like to proclaim is their goal for all of us Montanans. Here's the front cover. Here's the quote from Alexander Hamilton right there. Here's the people that were at the or spoke at the forum, and I won't go into all the details here. Here's the people on the panel, Chief Justice McGrath and others. I'll let you pause it if you want to find out who it is. And if you're here in Montana, I would suggest you take the time to do just that. And the Access to Justice back page, all their information they want the public to believe. And they describe their problems. The panel explains what they think are the problems. And I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you there's more than what's on the back of this sheet as the problem. So, according to McGrath, heavy caseloads in Montana are jeopardizing justice. The key, quote, the key to a democratic society is we have a way to resolve disputes that are fair and done by a magistrate that's fair and impartial to both sides, and you get a dispute resolved in a reasonably quick manner. They misspelled this word here, McGrath said. We are falling down with providing that service, and that service is a fair and impartial to both sides, because we don't have enough judges, because caseloads are so heavy it creates a problem throughout the community. I would beg to differ, Mr. McGrath. That's not the problem. That may be part of it, but you judges like these caseloads because it creates more money for you people in the club. But I don't want to go into that right now. Let's get to the point here. The forum was held from 4 to 6 p.m. on Wednesday, April 20th at the law school at the University of Montana. McGrath encourages the public to attend so they can voice their concerns and opinions. Here we are again. The public is encouraged to share stories and ideas with our panel, which will include members of the legislature and tribal and local judges. Montanans are asked to participate in order to help the commission better understand the challenges facing Montana's court system and to find practical solutions. Montana seeks, this is Justice Mike McGrath speaking again, and remember, you got to keep in mind he's running for unopposed for re-election to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and right now he's running unopposed, but he has to be retained. Anyway, I'll go into that in the future. Montanans seek resolution in our court system of the most important issues in their lives. Narrowing Montana's substantial justice gap will help ensure justice for all, regardless of income level, location, or status. Does that include even if you represent yourself, Mr. McGrath? I think not. Please consider attending the forum to help address the problems and work towards a better future for all of Montana. Here's the source for this quote. McGrath encourages the public to attend so they can voice their concerns and opinions. And I did just that. I attended the April 20, 2016 panel commission's forum, and I voiced my opinion. Here's the recording of me voicing my opinion. I agree with the Montana Supreme Court when it states access to justice is not just a legal problem, it's a community problem. Supreme Court Justice Beth Baker said, Montana's courts...
So lean in maybe, because it won't stay down.
How's this? Can you hear me? Because I want to make sure. It's a long drive to get here, and I want to make sure everybody hears me.
Can you introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Charles Folkhart.
And where are you from?
I'm from Summers, Montana.
Good.
Of course. I agree with the Montana Supreme Court when it states access to justice is not just a legal problem, it's a community problem. Supreme Court Justice Beth Baker said, Montana's courts are busy and getting busier. Last year we had a record number of filings, over 53,000. She also said, quote, another thing that is slowing down Montana's court in recent years is a growing number of people who come to court without a lawyer or legal help. I suggest there's another problem not mentioned by Justice Baker. The judges, including the Supreme Court, are not obeying the law. In October 2012, a plaintiff, through an officer of the court, filed a complaint against me in Butte County alleging fraud. It's case number DC 12302. I was and am not guilty. I represented myself because I have the experience, I have the ability, and most importantly, I have the right to represent myself. Access to Montana, the Montana justice system was not the problem. Access to justice was the problem, and judges not obeying the law was the problem. The complaint was defective on its face. So according to the statute of limitation and Rule 8, it should have been thrown out of court. That would have reduced the amount of cases in the system. The problem for me and for many others who represent themselves is that judges make it crystal clear that we are not welcome in, quote, their courtrooms. And even though I eventually sought the advice of attorney in drafting my arguments, the judges rule against my sound legal arguments time after time. In short, the judges, including the Montana Supreme Court, are disobeying the law. Because Judge Newman disobeyed the law, I spent the next 3.5 years going through what you call a legal system. Because Judge Newman, Judge Kruger, and the Montana Supreme Court did not obey the law, I, like many others forced into the Montana legal system,
paid a very high price mentally, emotionally, and financially. I was also denied my right to a trial by jury. This is not how our legal system is supposed to work. The Montana legal system is not a private club for the attorneys and the attorneys who become judges. The legal system is our legal system. If judges obey the law and treat everyone equally, representing oneself in a legal dispute does not require a law school education. In my second appeal, case number 15-0345, the Montana Supreme Court ignored its own remanded and mandated law of the case, ignored 3 of my 5 briefed issues, ignored the law, and affirmed the lower court's default judgment, an extreme measure by the court's own omission. Therefore, I have 3 questions to this commission. Question number 1. In the Montana legal system, why aren't self-representative individuals treated equally under the law? Question number 2. Why are we expected to obey the law, but the Montana judges, including Supreme Court judges, are not obeying the law? And number 3, since a Montana Supreme Court opinion is the final ruling in a case, where does one go when the Montana Supreme Court itself does not obey the law? And I'm okay with questions.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
In presentations to follow, I'm going to show from the public record and from the Montana Supreme Court's own words how they perverted justice. Subscribe to get notified when these new presentations appear online. I'm taking steps to migrate my presentations to my website, charlesfolkart.com, where the presentation will first appear. At that site, I will go into detail as to how the Montana, quote, justice system perverts justice and just how the Montana Supreme Court protects the members of the Montana Legal Club. Thank you for watching. If you do, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video, particularly with those individuals who live in Montana. And for that, I thank you very much. People, we can do something if we speak up. This club wants more judges, and they're going to ring lasso, if you will, more and more people into their system, and that's how they keep the legal system growing. And these people make a lot of money off of all of us who we are dragged into the legal system not because we've done anything wrong, but perhaps because the other party has money and we don't, or because they think they can use the system against us. And let's be honest, folks, if you're a white male today in any legal system in these United States, you got an X on your back. You are a target. And I know from personal experience, and I've talked to many other white males who say the same thing. So if you're a white male and you live in Montana, may I suggest you start doing something about this. I want to thank you again for watching.